Greetings to all of my fellow watch enthusiasts on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else this video might be seen and shared. Celine Driver once again, bringing you another unboxing and review of a watch that is mine. This is probably one of the most unusual watches I've ever put into my collection. Although at first glance it won't look that unusual, it does have a few interesting quirks to it. This was a watch that I traded for, doing the trade once again with my buddy Robert over at European Watch Company. Definitely a great place to pick up fantastic watches. Of course, this is unsponsored. As you can see, we have an Omega. A big Omega box. You can see it doesn't really fit on camera very well, so I'll just dispense with showing the outer box off, which is a very thick cardboard. Inside the box, you have a slot over here on the side for various bits of paperwork. This is the wallet that has the cards in it and everything. This was some paperwork from the previous owner. You have the instruction manual, which is a monster in a multitude of languages, English, French, what have you, Spanish. And, that's all well and good. In the inner box is the watch itself. We'll get to that in a second. You also have this very, very large certificate of authenticity for the Alaska project Speedmaster. The Alaska project was developed by NASA and Omega for outer space extreme temperature conditioning of the watch. And you have verbiage in here about how it came to be. You can see this is a limited edition of 1970 pieces. This one is number 1514, and so on. But inside this box, which is kind of a nice canvas lined box, is even more goodies. You have the very nice logoed lid, which you can't see because my camera won't depress that far. The watch itself, which we'll get to in a second. It does come with this extra strap, which does not appear to have ever been mounted to the watch. It's kind of a NATO-like. It actually looks like a forerunner or a precursor for the straps that Omega and Swatch put on those plastic fake Speedmasters that they released recently. But it's leather on the top with a Velcro closure. But here is the reason you need this strap is because of this case. And also underneath here, which is really hard to get to, are tools. You have a strap tool, which looks like it's never been used. It's really hard to get that piece off. And you have extra little tubes here with extra, it's hard to get them out. This tube has extra ends for the strap tool, as you can see. Little fork tools. So you get a couple of spare ones of those. And even the tube has a little watertight seal on it or supposed to be watertight. You also have a second tube in here, which, again, hard to get out, but possible. And this one has extra spring bars, also nice to have. So it's a complete system. And the system is designed around being able to use this strap tool, obviously, to take off the bracelet and put this thing on over here. This is the heart of the Alaska project. The idea was to be able to put the watch in here, and I'll sort of be able to demonstrate that with the bracelet on. You can't actually mount this thing on with the bracelet on, but you put the watch in here. Something like this. You see the bracelet actually prevents it from dropping fully in there. But these pins are spring-loaded. And obviously, I can't do it fully. But you put this on, and it actually twists and locks. You line, let's see, hang on a minute. Go something like this. You see that black mark there on the side? That lines up with that. Something like that. Oops. And then twists close. And then these pushers on the outside align with the chronograph pushers. And now this watch becomes a monster on your wrist. But the idea behind this housing was to make the watch functional between a negative 148 degrees Celsius and plus 260 degrees Celsius, which is supposed to be the temperature variations in outer space. So that's the idea behind the Alaska project, to be able to design a watch that can handle the extreme temperatures of outer space. You can see how that locks together like that. So now that we've gone over all that, and I realize I'm going to get hate in the comments because I spent 8 minutes going over the accoutrements of the watch instead of the watch itself. The watch in and of itself is a relatively standard Speedmaster in terms of the construction. It uses the standard Speedmaster case. Obviously, the dial is unique. It's a white dial that's unadorned by any numerals or anything like that on the watch part. Obviously, you have numerals for the chronograph and the running seconds hands here. I'll get the chronograph going. And also, the one other neat feature of the watch is the capsule style hands on the chronograph minute and chronograph hour subdials. They look like little Apollo or Mercury style, probably meant to be Apollo style command modules. Or you could say they look like the delta wings on a delta wing fighter aircraft, like the Century series, like the Delta Dagger and the Delta Dart and so on, that were prominent in the era that this watch was originally designed. It is a standard Speedmaster case, same crystal you would find in other Speedmasters. The case back is a little bit unique. You can see it the serial number of this specific watch, 1514 out of 1970 watches. A very special center medallion. And of course, the verbiage about the watch being flight qualified by NASA. and the fact that it's part of the Alaska project. You can see that there. It says limited edition there, limited series, or if you prefer. And you can see the minute hand is already moved there. You have, you have a tachometer, scale, fixed bezel tachometer. Everything is all of stainless steel, mostly matte finish. You have some polished areas like on the top of the lugs, and some polished areas on the bracelet itself. Standard Omega Speedmaster clasp. Very limited on the micro adjust. You really only have, I guess you could, yeah, you only really have two micro adjust positions. So somewhat limited on that. But then again, the removable links are not very big. Unfortunately, it does use a pin and collar system. I've gotten used to the pin and collar system. It doesn't mean I like it, but I'm used to working with the pin and collar system on Omega bracelets. They at least work better than the Seiko bracelets. You can see the wrist shot on my 7¼ inch wrist. The watch fits beautifully across my wrist. It's ideal size for my wrist type. Although with the shorter lug to lug, the watch could certainly be worn by somebody with a 6¼ inch or 6.5, 6¼ inch wrist relatively easily. The watch came to me previously owned. The previous owner obviously took excellent care of this watch. There's not a mark on the thing. Milled clasp, all very nice. I have my sheet of facts here so I can tell you more about the specifics of the watch. The Omega Speedmaster Professional Moon Watch, Alaska Project. A limited edition of 1,970 watches. You have two straps. I already showed you. Obviously, you see the bracelet, the leather Velcro strap, which you need to use in conjunction with the housing. Stainless steel bracelet. Hesselite crystal. Yep, it is a Hesselite. Not a mark on this. I mean, Hesselite is basically plastic. Not a mark on it, though. The watch came to me in beautiful condition. It is a manual wind, standard moon watch, Omega caliber 1861. Has a good long power reserve. It is a little hard to wind considering how close the pushers are to the crown. The upper pusher starts and stops the watch. The lower pusher resets. And it is a flyback, as you can see. The watch, the 1970 watches that were released are basically reproductions, or recreations, I should say, of a prototype watch that Omega made for NASA back in 2008. And that was, with this housing and everything as an option to more readily protect the watch from the extremes of external spacecraft spacewalks. I think they call them EVAs, extravehicular activities or something like that. And that's the purpose behind this big red thing. I don't think I'm going to put that on the watch. I really don't see the point. But nice to have, very interesting. I might put it on one once in a while. That red case over here is red anodized aluminum, designed to combat extreme conditions in space. As you can see, that's the temperature range that this watch had to endure when they designed it. And I'm sure that the casing that they created for the prototype was even more impressive than this, with the ability to seal it up and that kind of thing. I seriously doubt that this thing is going to be able to, this particular piece is going to be able to survive to the extreme of 148 degrees Celsius below zero. But, let's see. 42 millimeter case, 20 millimeter lug, 48.2 millimeter lug to lug. That's the only measurement I did myself. The other measurements came from Omega. It's 14 millimeters thick and has a 50 meter water resistance. Not a swimmable watch. You can get it wet, wash your hands with it or something like that, but not something you want to immerse in water for very long, or else it's a very expensive repair. But the idea behind this watch was not going swimming. The idea behind this watch was strap it to your wrist and go into space. Take a walk on the outside with the watch on, and I guess with the watch on and with this housing on it, and the watch survives to get back into the vehicle and keep on ticking. I don't know. I think it just looks cool. Yeah, maybe one day I'll put this whole rig on there and shoot a quick video showing you what that looks like. I don't know. I'll think about it. It's an awful involved project. I mean, these are not quick release spring bars, so it's going to be a lot of digging to get in there. I mean, I could do it. It's just, I have to be in the mood to do something like that. It's a pain in the butt. Anyway, it was a really, really good trade for me. I traded away a couple of watches that I wasn't going to wear for a watch that I am absolutely going to wear. So, good deal for me, good deal for a European watch, and everybody walked away happy. And because I'm happy, it's time to wrap up the video so I can be happy wearing the watch instead of talking about it. If you enjoyed this video, you found it to be informative, interesting, informative, please click that thumbs up button for me. It only takes a second and really helps the channel out. Comments, questions, suggestions down below. I do read them all. I do respond to them all. However, if you are going to troll me, or you can try if you want. If you're going to try to troll me, or you're going to leave links to bad places on the interwebs in my comments section, I will simply delete the comment and block the commenter. If you're new to this channel, of course, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you found my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you will take the time to enjoy other videos as well. All I ask in return is that before you leave, please click that red subscribe button. And when you do, please click the bell icon too, so that when I upload new material or I do live streams, you can be alerted to those things. And as I always say at the end of my videos, it is a crazy old world out there. And if recent events show anything, it ain't getting any less crazy. So I ask you to please be careful out there. Stay safe, be well. I'll see you soon.